Welcome back. I'm JayBlue, and this is the 2020 Toronto Blue Jays Sim. We are at Monday, April 6th, and I just want to thank you all for joining me again. This is the fourth episode of this sim, and we're going to be focusing now on the minor leagues a little bit more as we begin the season in a few more days. Here we are, we're 4-6, and we're going to be facing off against the Phillies. And we've got Hyunjin Ryu and Aaron Nola, so we've got a tough pitching matchup here. We're going to sim the game today and see what happens. And we had a big win. We've got a trade proposal coming in. I've in the games that I've played, there's always these crazy trade offers that we get. So we're getting offered Williams Astudillo, a catcher who's actually quite a good catcher. 55, a decent catcher, but so far he's not doing. He hasn't done anything this year, hasn't played a game yet, and he's didn't hit that well last year. So, we're getting this minor league catcher offer for Vladdy Guerrero and Rafael Dolis. So that's obviously a pretty bad offer. In terms of the game, let's take a look at the box score. We get a 9-1 win. Bo Bichette was 2 for 5, and he hit a home run, as you can see down here. Vladdy Guerrero had a monster game, 4 for 5 with a double and a home run. Randall Grichuk hit a home run, a 3-run blast. Travis Shaw hit a double. And Lourdes Gurriel was 2 for 4 with a double as well. Derek Fisher, 1 for 3. Reese McGuire was 1 for 2 with a couple of RBI. And on the mound, Ryu was very, very good. He gave up just 3 hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out 6. So really strong outing there. Sam Gaviglio allowed 2 runners, but threw a scoreless 9th to finish the game. We're going to move on to play the next day facing the Phillies. Let's just take a look at who we've got on the mound. We have Zach Wheeler, who's interesting because he's he's been a starter. Zach Wheeler and Tanner Roark. Tanner Roark, not so bad so far, and we lost in 11 innings, but Roark had a strong start. If we scroll down here, he went 6 innings, 9 hits, scattering them over those 6 innings. 8 strikeouts, no walks, and just 2 runs in. But it was Shun Yamaguchi who took the loss, giving up a solo home run in that bottom of the 11th. Jordan Romano continues to be very strong. Ken Giles struck out 4 in 2 innings. And at the plate, Vladdy Guerrero was 2 for 5. He's pushing that batting average up, even though it's still, just 12 games into the season. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hit a home run, and he was in a pinch hitting role, so he was 1 for 1 with a home run. Derek Fisher was 2 for 4. Travis Shaw 1 for 4, and Bo Bichette 1 for 4. And we go back to the home screen. It is Wednesday the 8th, and now we're playing Kansas City. So we split that series against the Phillies. Not bad. Blue Jays have tended to be pretty bad in interleague play. And so we've got Matt Shoemaker facing Danny Duffy of the Kansas City Royals. The Royals are 2-8 in their 10 games so far. So we're going to sim that game and see what's going on. And we lost, it would appear. We didn't lose because we didn't play. That we had a day off. So now it's the 9th, and I believe that our minor league affiliates get into action today. So we're going to check out their schedules. So if we go to team schedule and we go to the Buffalo Bisons, we can see that they open at Scranton Wilkes-Barre. The Rail Riders, the Yankees AAA affiliate. The Fisher Cats are at Reading, the Phillies AA affiliate. The Dunedin Blue Jays open against Clearwater, another Phillies affiliate. And the Lansing Lugnuts open their season against West Michigan. They're the Detroit Tigers Midwest League affiliate. And Let's just take a look at our pitching. We've got Adam Kloffenstein is going to be our opening day starter for the for the Lansing Lugnuts. And our lineup is interesting. We've got DJ Neal, Tanner Morris, Jesus Lopez, Will Robertson, Philip Clark, Cameron Eden, McGregory Contreras, Ronnie Brito, and Jordan Groshans. Not entirely sure why Groshans is at the bottom of that order, but as we've mentioned before, once I sort of deferred to the manager's decisions, I can't change that anymore. So that's very odd that such a high-ranked prospect in Groshans is so low in that batting order. Probably the game doesn't have him as highly regarded as a lot of scouts do. Let's look at the opening day lineup, or at least one of the lineups for the Dunedin Blue Jays. We're going to have Christopher Beck leading off again. This is very interesting configuration here. Reggie Pruitt, Chavez Young, Samad Taylor. So that, Samad Taylor hitting fourth is a bit interesting, but we've got three guys with a lot of speed. Each of these guys, I think, has stolen at least 30, 40 bases at the minor league level in a year. Gabriel Moreno is probably the best prospect among this bunch. Casey Clemens, Otto Lopez, another solid prospect who I'd have hitting higher up in the order. Griffin Conine, again, he's a big power hitter. His contact is very low right now, and he's going to strike out a ton. He struck out 125 times in 80 games last year for the Lansing Lugnuts, playing only 80 games because he was suspended for the first part of the year after testing positive for, I believe it was a Ritalin-like substance. And then Johnny Aiello is down there at the bottom of the order. Pitching on the mound is going to be Josh Winkowski. Again, I don't mind having Winkowski starting, but it's mainly because I've started him. He would have been in the bullpen otherwise, and the way I think it works is they prioritize anyone that you've told them to force into the rotation. So otherwise, it would have been Simeon Woods Richardson, and again, I can't adjust that because the manager is taking care of it. Up to the AA New Hampshire Fisher Cats, we're going to have Elvis Luciano on the mound to start. Another interesting choice, but between him and Patrick Murphy and Thomas Hatch, there's three really strong guys there in the rotation from my point of view. This is a little bit more of a lineup that I would be expecting to see. Josh Palacios, Gabriel Guerrero, Ryan Noda, Kevin Smith, Alejandro Kirk, Brock Lundquist, Kevin Vicuña, Demi Ormaloy, and Logan Warmoth. I might see Vicuña a little bit higher up. I know a lot of the people in the Blue Jays organization are really high on him. And finally, we get to the Buffalo Bisons. On the mound for them is going to be TJ Zoik, again, because I'm force starting him. Otherwise, it would be Nate Pearson. In the lineups, we've got Anthony Alford, Mitch Walding, Billy McKinney, Patrick Kivlehan, Jonathan Davis, Ruben Tejada, Andy Burns, Santiago Espinal, and Riley Adams. I think, if in the real world what we're going to see, if and when we get the AAA season underway, you're going to see Santiago Espinal and Jonathan Davis closer to the top of the order here for the Buffalo Bisons. Okay, so let's sim the day. For the Blue Jays, we have that Matt Shoemaker, Danny Duffy matchup, and the result was a win against Kansas City. I'll do a quick summary of this one. We've got Bo Bichette going 2 for 4 with a double and a home run. We had Lourdes Gurriel hitting a home run, his third of the year. Randall Grichuk was 2 for 3 with a double and no home run for him. Teoscar Hernandez hit a home run, 1 for 3 with 2 runs, adding a walk. Rowdy Tellez also went deep for his 4th of the year. Rowdy is actually leading the club in home runs. And Derek Fisher and Reese McGuire each had a hit, with McGuire hitting a double, both of them hitting doubles. On the mound, Matt Shoemaker didn't really bring down his ERA. He was way up over 12. Now he's up over 15, allowing 6 runs in just 2 innings. So that may, if he does that a couple more times, we might have to pull him out of the rotation. Wilmer Font had a really strong outing, giving up just 3 hits in 3 2/3 innings. Anthony Bass allowed a run on 2 walks and a hit, and in 1 2/3. And Dolis got the win And Ken Giles got a save, striking out 3. That's Giles' second of the year. All right, let's go down to the minor leagues now and see how they did. And for the Bisons won 10-1 in their opening, and we're going to have to make sure that we set up so we can actually generate the box score. So we're going to actually do that right now. Game setup. Game settings. Global settings. And log settings. Keep news logs, injury logs, save replays, save games from human organizations, generate YP human organizations, save box scores from human organizations. All right, that should do it. All right, so the Buffalo Bisons won 10-1 in their first game. We can check on what happened a little bit, around there. It wasn't set up to save yet. So we'll check that in just a second. The New Hampshire Fisher Cats lost 16-4. 14-6, sorry. The Dunedin Blue Jays won 3-1, so there was a good outing by Josh Winkowski. And the Lansing Lugnuts were destroyed 15-0 by the West Michigan Whitecaps. It looked like Adam Kloffenstein had a really, really, really rough start. Clough didn't hit, so that's not going to help us. Clough went 2 1/3 innings, giving up 7 hits, 6 runs. Nick Fraze also gave up 3 runs, 2 earned in 3 innings. Edison Gonzalez gave up 2 runs. And anybody else get into the game? Yeah, Hagen Danner got into the game, giving up 4 runs in an inning and 2/3. We're going to have to take a look at how to figure out how to get Hagen Danner just as a hitter. He's in both, and I'm wondering just how to make sure that he's just a hitter and not a pitcher. And the lineups, what did we get here? Phil Clark was just over 3. Didn't get a lot of hits here, actually. We had 1 hit from Yorman Rodriguez. We had a hit from Jesus Lopez, and that was it. So we're going to go to the Dunedin Blue Jays. The Dunedin Blue Jays got 2 hits, including a double from Christopher Beck, 2 hits from Gabby Moreno, 1 hit from Johnny Aiello and Otto Lopez, and Griffin Conine was 2 for 3 with a double, and Reggie Pruitt was 1 for 4 with a double. And that was a pretty solid offensive game all around. Pitching-wise, Winkowski, who was our starter, he went 7 innings, giving up a run on 4 hits with 8 strikeouts. So that was a very nice game for Winkowski. And we got an inning from Brad Wilson, who struck out 1, and Sean Weimer, who gave up a hit, and that was all. The New Hampshire Fisher Cats, Elvis Luciano got chased after an inning and a third. I think he came out because of an injury, giving up 2 runs. So who came in? It was either Castillo, who gave up 3 runs in 3 2/3 innings, or Travis Bergen, who allowed 4 runs in 2 2/3. John Harris gave up another 5 runs in 1 1/3 innings. So that was, again, a pretty ugly pitching outing. And for our lineups, Alejandro Kirk was 1 for 5 with a triple and 2 RBI. Mac James pinch hit and was 1 for 1, also driving in a run. Ryan Noda was 1 for 3 with a triple. And we had hits from Christian Williams, Cullen Large, who bruised a thigh, Logan Warmoth, who hit a triple and drove in a pair. Kevin Smith was 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run. And Kevin Vicuña was 2 for 5. Gabby Guerrero was 1 for 4. And that was it. And for the Buffalo Bisons, who had a big win on their opening day, Riley Adams was 2 for 4 with a double, an RBI, a couple runs. Mitch Walding, 1 for 4 with a walk, I believe. No, yeah, he had a walk. Andy Burns was 2 for 4 with a home run, so that's the first home run of our organization outside of the major leagues. Ruben Tejada was 3 for 5 with a couple of doubles. Santiago Espinal was 2 for 5. And Jonathan Davis was 1 for 5 with Anthony Alford going 2 for 5 with a home run and a double and a strikeout, but 2 RBI, 2 runs. So a very solid game for Anthony Alford in his opening day match. Patrick Kivlahan was 2 for 5 as well with a run, and 1 for 5 was Billy McKinney. So that's the rundown on day 1 of the minor league season. So let's play the next game. Hopefully we're going to be able to get those minor league game logs. And we won again against Kansas City. A quick rundown here. Derek Fisher was 1 for 4. Vladdy Guerrero 2 for 4. Randall Grichuk had a big game going 2 for 4 with 2 home runs, giving him 4 on the season. Lourdes Gurriel was 1 for 4 with a double. And Chase Anderson, solid 5 2/3 inning, 3 runs allowed, 8 strikeouts. Shun Yamaguchi struck out 7 in 2 2/3 innings, but gave up a home run. And I think that's going to be a trend for him, is giving up a lot of home runs. And Rafael Dolis got the win, pitching the last 2/3 of an inning. Let's try to go down to the minor leagues and see if we can get those box scores. And so the Buffalo Bisons, and we do have a box score for the Bisons. We've got the WPA win probability added. What do you call it? The graph. We don't have a game summary, but I think that's okay. So Anthony Alford had 8 at-bats in a 16-inning game. We won 6-4 in 16 innings against Scranton Wilkes-Barre. We lost 6-4 in 16 innings. Anthony Alford was 0 for 8 with 3 strikeouts. Patrick Kivlahan had a big game with a double, 3 hits, and Billy McKinney was 1 for 6 with a home run. Jonathan Davis had a couple of hits, and Riley Adams continued a strong AAA start with 3 hits, including a triple in the 16th inning, going 3 for 7. On the mound, Nate Pearson had a decent start. He's going to be held at around 90 pitches, so he had 2 runs on 4 hits and 2 walks, 5 strikeouts in 5 innings. A.J. Cole, 2 scoreless innings. Zach Jackson, a scoreless inning. Ty Tice blew the save, giving up 2 runs. Kirby Sneed went a third of an inning to start. I'm not even going to do math. I think the 10th inning. Drake Petrichka struck out 4 in 2 innings. Connor Fisk took the loss, going 3 2/3 innings, allowing a run, and Philippe Beaumont gave up the last run. And that is that game for the Buffalo Bisons. New Hampshire Fisher Cats are here, and they lost 4-3 in the bottom of the 9th to the Reading Fighting Phils. 2 hits from Alejandro Kirk, including a double. Kevin Vicuña hit 2 doubles, going 2 for 4, and Demi Ormaloy was 1 for 3 with a double. So all of our hits, except for, it looks like one hit by Kirk. All of them were doubles. Patrick Murphy only went 2 innings. He came out with that tired arm injury, so we're going to actually put him on the injured list for the week. But Zach Logue was very strong coming out of the bullpen, striking out 4. Jake Fishman took the loss, giving up 3 runs over 3 innings. He's a guy who shouldn't be throwing 3 innings. Hector Perez finished it off. So we're going to head down to the Dunedin Blue Jays. We took the loss 7-5. And what happened here? So we had Reggie Pruitt with his first home run of the year, 2 for 4, 2 RBI, 3 runs. Chavez Young was 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run. Otto Lopez 2 for 4. Nick Podkul 2 for 3 after Johnny Aiello came out of the game. He was 1 for 1 with a double. And Griffin Conine 1 for 4. Gabby Moreno 1 for 4 with 2 RBI. And Johnny Aiello twisted his ankle. He's only going to be out a couple days. On the mound was Nick Allgaier, giving up 3 runs over 5 innings. Justin Maesi took the loss, giving up 3 runs. He hasn't pitched in like 2 years, so I'm going to give him a little bit of slack as he sort of works back up to speed. Brad Wilson allowed another run, so it was not the best game for the the Dunedin Blue Jays. Lansing Lugnuts get off to an 0-2 start, losing their second in a row. West Michigan Whitecaps win 6-2. The Lugnuts got 2 hits from DJ Neal, including a double. Tanner Morris was 1 for 4. Jesus Lopez was 1 for 4. He hit a triple and scored. Philip Clark was 1 for 3 with a walk, and Jordan Groshans hit a double, going 1 for 4. On the mound, Juan Nunez allowed 2 earned runs in 4 innings. Alex Nolan gave up 3 runs in 2 innings, and Kobe Johnson no runs in the final 2 innings. Let's head back here, and we're going to sim our next day. Trent Thornton took the mound, and the Blue Jays end up losing. So that's their first loss to the Kansas City Royals in this series. And today is now Sunday, so we're going to sim one more day. We're going to take a look at what happened on Saturday, and we're going to have one more day of sim to finish out the week. So for the Blue Jays, we had Travis Shaw with a couple hits. Derek Fisher hit another home run. He was 1 for 2 with a walk, drove in 3, and Lourdes Gurriel was 2 for 4 with a home run. Bo Bichette hit a double, was 1 for 5. Travis Shaw was 2 for 4, and Danny Jansen hit a double, going 1 for 3. On the mound, Thornton gave up 5 runs, allowing 8 hits, 3 home runs, and 4 strikeouts. Anthony Kay allowed a run, an unearned run in 3 1/3 innings. He struck out 6. And remember, Kay was brought up after Thomas Pannone just got destroyed in a game. So we've sort of decided to go with Kay as opposed to Pannone as our lefty out of the bullpen. And Jordan Romano finished it off again, not giving up a run, striking out 2 and allowing a hit and a walk in 1 2/3 innings. We're going to head down to the minor leagues now. 3rd game of the season for the Buffalo Bisons. They took another loss to Scranton Wilkes-Barre. 8-4 loss. On the mound was Julian Merriweather, who took a big hit. 5 earned runs, 7 hits. Jacob Wagaspak allowed an unearned run in 1 1/3. A.J. Cole gave up 2 runs. Philippe Belmont, 1 2/3 innings, no runs for him. Home runs from Jonathan Davis, who was 2 for 4, and Billy McKinney, who hit his 2nd of the year, was 1 for 4 with the 3 RBI. Patrick Kivlahan was 2 for 4, and Mitch Walding hit a double. We're heading down to the Fisher Cats, who now go to 0-3 on the season, losing in 10 innings to the Reading Fighting Phils. The Fisher Cats got a home run from Josh Palacios and Gabriel Guerrero. Each had 1 hit. Ryan Noda had a hit. Demi Ormaloy had a double. Going to the pitching, Thomas Hatch was outstanding, striking out 7 and 6 1/3 innings with 5 hits, 2 walks. Zach Logue allowed a run in relief, striking out the side. However, Connor Overton made his first appearance in a Blue Jays affiliates uniform, blowing the save, giving up a solo home run in 2/3 of an inning, and Justin Dillon pitched a scoreless ninth. Then in the 10th, Curtis Taylor gave up a run to take the loss. If you don't know who Curtis Taylor is, he was one of the 2 pitchers the Blue Jays picked up for Eric Sogard from the Tampa Bay Rays at the deadline. Both of them were players to be named later. So Taylor came over for Sogard. The Dunedin Blue Jays pick up a win, winning 5-1. This was a very solid outing for Simeon Woods Richardson in his first outing of the year, giving up 4 hits, a walk, 2 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings, pitching to contact. Excellent work for him. Mike Ellenbest gave up the only run of the game, 4 hits in 2 innings, and Turner Larkins finished it off with 2 strikeouts. On the offensive side, Chavez Young was probably our player of the game other than Simeon Woods Richardson. He had 3 hits, including 2 doubles, and he stole a base. Chris Beck had 3 stolen bases. Despite being a catcher, Beck has actually been a good base stealer throughout his minor league career so far. Reggie Pruitt was 0 for 2 but walked twice. Gabi Moreno was on base. He was on base twice with a walk and a hit. And Otto Lopez was 1 for 4. Johnny Aiello was back in the lineup. He had a walk, and Griffin Conine was 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. And we head down to the Lansing Lugnuts, who finally pick up their first win, beating the West Michigan Whitecaps 5-2. On the mound, Juan DePaula starts off his season really nicely. This is a guy the Blue Jays acquired in the trade for Kevin Pillar, and he had horrible control last year. He missed a lot of time being injured, and so it's great to see Juan DePaula, the only guy still in the organization from that trade, having a great start to his season, striking out 6, giving up a hit, and 5 hits and a walk with 1 earned run. Grayson Huffman pitched to, I think, 1 batter and didn't come out of the game because of injury, but he gave up a hit. Jared DeCesare, yes, that is how you pronounce his name, Jared DeCesare, pitched 2 1/3, giving up a run on 4 hits and a walk with 3 strikeouts, and Josh Hyatt got the save with a hit but a strikeout in that 9th inning. On the offensive side, the Lugnuts got Cameron Eden hitting 2 hits. He hit a double, 2 for 4. McGregory Contreras was 2 for 4. The home run of the day came from Tanner Morris, who was 1 for 5 with 2 RBI. And DJ Neal was 1 for 5 with Will Robertson and Philip Clark getting a hit each, with Ronnie Brito, Jordan Groshans also getting a hit each. DJ Neal stole a base. And it is Sunday. And Sunday means that we've got Hyunjin Ryu on the mound once again. He's facing Brad Keller of the Kansas City Royals. So we're going to sim our final day of this episode. And the Blue Jays lose again, losing 5-2, missing out on their opportunity to even their record. It would have been 8-8, but now they are 7-9 after that loss. Vladimir Guerrero was 3 for 4 with a big game, hitting his 7th double of the year. Rowdy Tellez was 2 for 4 with another double. Kevin Biggio was 2 for 5, and Reese McGuire was 1 for 4. Hyunjin Ryu allowed 4 runs in 5 1/3. Shun Yamaguchi gave up another home run. He continues to struggle with that. Anthony Bass, 1 1/3 solid innings, and Wilmer Font finished it off. Let's check out the minors now. So the Buffalo Bisons pick up a win against Scranton Wilkes-Barre, and the offense came from home run from Riley Adams, who was 2 for 5. Santiago Espinal, as I said, he's already hitting pretty well. He was 2 for 3 with 2 walks, so he's on base 4 times. Jonathan Davis, 1 for 3 with 2 RBI and a walk. He hit a double. Billy McKinney also hit a double, going 1 for 3 with 2 walks and 2 RBI. Patrick Killahan, 2 for 5 with 2 RBI and a run. And Mitch Walding, 2 for 3. He continues his strong start, also took a walk. Ryan Barucki got the start, 1 run on 7 hits in 6 innings, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Great start for Ryan Barucki. Taylor Saucedo got into the action, another lefty coming on after the lefty Barucki. 0 runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts in 2 1/3 innings. Great to see a nice start from Saucedo, who had a really strong start last season, but I think he ran out of gas at the end of the year, and I think his numbers were a little bloated at the end of the year after I think he ran out of gas in August. And James Dykstra makes his Buffalo Bisons debut, giving up a walk in 2/3 of an inning. And we head down to the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. Fisher Cats were off today, so they didn't lose a 4th time, but they weren't able to get a win, obviously. The Dunedin Blue Jays were also off, and the Lansing Lugnuts were off. So just 1 game in the minors with the Buffalo Bisons. And this weekend sim was, a little bit interesting to me. This was the weekend I was supposed to be down in Florida, checking out the Dunedin Blue Jays and extended spring training. But of course, because of the coronavirus fun, I am not going. I'm still here in Toronto. It's April 3rd when I'm recording this, so I think we're going to be here for a while, hence why I am doing this sim to see what happens in the season. So we're 4 days into the minor league season. We are about 2.5 weeks into the major league season. The Toronto Blue Jays are 7-9, and if we take a look at our pitching staff, Hyunjin Ryu has been very strong, 2.81 ERA. Tanner Rourke, I think, has given us pretty much everything we've hoped to have from him. Matt Shoemaker has not looked good returning from his knee injury last year. Chase Anderson's been okay, and Trent Thornton's been okay. He's had a couple of good starts. Anthony Kay has been great out of the bullpen. Jordan Romano has been great out of the bullpen. Those are the real surprises. Shun Yamaguchi, 6.97 ERA in his 7 games so far, so something's going to have to give. He does have 2 walks and 20 strikeouts, but those home runs, I think, are really coming to haunt him. We're probably going to give it another week or two, and then we may make some shuffles aside from injuries. Danny Jansen has a decent start. I mean, it's not great. Reese McGuire has been putting up some better numbers overall. They're playing with Danny Jansen getting a little more time than McGuire. McGuire is showing a little more power with 1 home run. Rowdy Tellez has 4 home runs. He's on fire. He's got a 1.235 OPS at the moment, a 226 OPS plus. So we might have him get into the lineup a little bit more, but he is off to an outstanding start. Travis Shaw is doing fairly well. He's got a 796 OPS. And it seems like the OPS in the league is a little low because that's a 119 OPS plus. Kevin Biggio is off to a slow start. He's got a 66 OPS plus. Vladdy Guerrero Jr., 344, 417, 547. That's a darn good start for Vladdy. He's got a couple home runs. Bo Bichette, also a decent start. He's not up to the same level right now, but he does have 3 home runs. Lourdes Gurriel, solid start. He's 989 OPS. 4 home runs so far, and Randall Grichuk also has 4 home runs. This is actually not bad. The 270, 324 average and OBP are actually pretty good for Randall. I think that's going to come down by the end of the season, but the 556 slugging percentage, very solid. Derek Fisher is way better than I thought he would be so far. 306, 366, 639 for a 1.005 OPS. That's outstanding, and Teoscar Hernandez is kind of stinking it up. So if Teoscar continues to play like this, I'm sure we are going to give Derek Fisher a little bit more time in right field. We also have Billy McKinney in the minors, who is poised to play the outfield as well. We have several outfielders in the minors. That's not the issue. The issue and the question is how well they do in the major league, at the major league level. So, with the Blue Jays, there are numbers of guys at that AAA major league level, but the question is, how well do they do in the majors, and can they produce? So far this season, Derek Fisher is producing like crazy, and Teoscar is not, while Lourdes Gurriel is also having an outstanding start to his season. So that is it. That is another week in the Blue Jays 2020 season. My name is JayBlue. You can find me at Blue Jays From Away. We're going to have a blog post up about this sim so far and what's going on fairly soon. Thanks to GM Games and having us on their YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. Leave any comments if you have any questions. As we've mentioned, we're going to be going more into the minor league system. I think I may change things up the way we record our next sim. I might just sim the week, do everything, and then sort of talk about it, show you the box scores as we go along. And that's it. Thanks very much. Please leave a comment. Any questions, any comments. Thanks very much. Have a great day. This is JayBlue signing off.